Good evening, diecast enthusiasts. I'm going to start this video with a really lame car. It's easily found right now on pegs, but I wanted to take a closer look. It's Matchbox. It's the Swift shuttle. I'm not sure if this one's licensed or not. I think it could be a licensed model. Now, obviously, the scale, for those of you that are scale picky, you're not going to like this, and it's a plastic model. However, I don't think it looks bad for being a plastic model. There's actually a lot of detail in this thing. You can see the vents there in the back. I think this is one of the cooler looking city buses. It's probably closer to 1 to 85th scale, probably at least. It's a metal base, plastic body. It's an interesting casting. The thing about Matchbox and Hot Wheels is that if I see one that intrigues me in any kind of way, I will pay the dollar to give it a look. Check out, like, all the indicator lights are tampoed. The tampo detail on this thing is awesome. So with the vents, you have sculpted detail, and then they run the tampo over the top of it. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, I know a lot of you may not be feeling that, and that's okay. That's just the start to the video. I just wanted to take a look at it and figured if I'm going to take a look at it, might as well do it on camera. All right, found a discounted Auto World car, $249. I don't care. I will not ever leave an Auto World for that price, whether I have it or not. I like finding the closeout stuff. So this is the regular Dodge Polara. Was a 63, not to be confused with the Max Wedge. Wow, is that? No, that's good. I just love Auto World. I'm telling you. They really do make a nice casting. That thing is so nice. Check out that car. All of the detail on these things is just so clean. All the lines. I mean, you can see a few paint flaws here, but I mean, when you're trying to do a detail that fine, it's not going to be right every time. But check that out. Like, that's all part of the casting. So it's not any separate pieces with that bumper. It's just cast and then painted, and it looks amazing. It really looks good. And another thing with Auto World, super clear windows. Probably the most clear of any. I think the only one that I would say is more clear is Tomica Limited Vintage. So anyways, the hood on this, it does open, but there's no lip for me. no lip for me to get under it. But anyways, I've already got this car, but like I said, I will buy duplicates of Auto World. I don't care. Okay, I wanted to show these just because I went to get a couple cars off the shelf and I saw these and I was like, well, I might as well show these. So these are dealership promotional cars. Now, they're very, very detailed. They're not the highest quality, but they are scaled almost perfect, and the detail is, I don't even really know how. I mean, it's really good. The detail and the accuracy, the replication that they're going for. Prototypical wheels. These are all factory paint options, as they are dealership promotional cars. So this is an actual Subaru Legacy. You can get one really that looks just like this. Same color, same wheels. So very, very cool car there. Man, I don't honestly know where to find these. I don't know if they're available in the US. I would say maybe try your local Subaru dealership. If you are a Subaru enthusiast, here's another one. There's the WRX. But, I mean, check out the wheels. They're plastic tires. But you're still getting prototypical wheels, though. I would almost rather have prototypical wheels with plastic tires, you know, as long as they look right, than have rubber tires with some generic wheel. That's my personal preference. And the reason for that is, as a collector, I like the most accurate looking replica possible. Unless it's like a race car or some kind of custom car. That's kind of what I go for with the cars I like to collect. The spoiler on this thing looks awesome too. It's awesome. Whoever made these cars did a nice job. I don't know who it is. The way they feel, like the weight and just kind of the sound they make and that kind of stuff, they feel a lot like Maisto fresh metal, but the accuracy of or the execution of the model replication is much, much higher quality than that of a Maisto. Okay, so today I've been working more hours than I'm used to, taking on a second job, so haven't had a lot of time to do much lately, and today I just wanted to get out of the house with my girls, my wife and my daughter. So we went first time, and God, it's probably been 2 months or so since I've been to an antique mall. Well, now we went to a couple weeks ago, some different ones. They were a lot smaller. They were on a different side of town, but it's been a couple months since I went to the main antique mall that I go to. And today I found this, and these are the Ertl American Muscle Ertl collectibles. These have been seen on a lot of the YouTube channels. I know WTFFOR cracked open a bunch. The ones he got were in clamshells, but the only difference is the packaging. The castings, I think, are the same. I know Champion DJK has featured these on his channel, and I have featured a few of them on my channel. Now, this car, I know that price, that's the original price tag from Hobbytown USA. I did not pay that. I paid $4 for this car today, which is why I bought it. I do like the fact that it is a Mopar. I don't have any of these American Muscles in Mopar, and after getting this one, I will have General Motors covered, Ford covered, and the Chrysler Group all covered. So they come in a little acrylic, just like this, a lot like M2, probably closer to the Auto World style acrylics that they don't do any longer. Not screwed to the base, just held with some plastic molding. And as a collector, I would say you probably not want to leave them in there for too long, because you can see the plastic is yellowing, and anytime you have rubber bands, tape, or plastic in contact with the paint, it leaves it susceptible to damage. So I guess if you're a carded collector, you're going to do what you do, and if you're a loose collector, you're going to do what you do. But as a loose collector, I'm going to open it, and I'm just going to hope for the best. It looked absolutely beautiful in the packaging, and usually that's a good sign. Usually if it looks good in the packaging, it's going to look even better out of the packaging, and I think that's what we have going on here, because this thing is killer. Wow, that is so nice. Alright, so let's take a look. We'll start out here with the engine. Very, very detailed engine. 1:64 scale. And also on these Ertl American Muscle castings, you have the opening trunk. Now, typically, I'm not a fan of a lot of opening parts on cars this scale. But you have to see, okay, the trunk closes pretty good. Not the best, but pretty good. But the hood lines up immaculate. I mean, you couldn't get it any better than that. That is right on. So this is a 71 Dodge Charger RT. I love the detail on the hood. I like the color of the car a lot. The black vinyl top. Here's your front end. You can see the detail with the grille and the headlights, the license plate. Now, with these cars, these are all extra pieces. So you have a side view, you have inserts with the grille and the tail lights. A lot of extra pieces going on. I'm not the biggest fan of that. However, Ertl did a much better job executing it than brands like M2 that do a lot of extra pieces. These cars, at least the cars that I have in my collection, have been in their display cases for, well, let's see what the year is on this thing. It's 2001, so 16 years, and nothing has fallen off. Can't tell you how many M2s I've seen in the acrylics that are just falling apart. So, let's see here. Here's kind of a side view. Really, I think the only downside to these cars, and it's only the case on some of them, but in this car, see, the others that I have, I think actually look pretty good, but the wheels on this car, I think, are not great. But I love the color, I love the graphics, it's all very, very clean. The scale looks perfect, the lines and the proportions look pretty much perfect. Just a killer looking car. I really like the car. Now, I would really like to get a Charger Daytona from this Ertl collectible or American Muscle line. A really nice roller. Now, here's something I'll show you real quick that Ertl did with this line that you haven't seen. You didn't see it before, and you really haven't seen it since. and it's something I really don't care about. But here you go with the bottom of the car. So the exhaust, the transmission, the front axle, the gas tank, all of that stuff is extra pieces, but it's authentic detail. So basically, if you were to take like a 1:24 scale model and then just scale it down, that's pretty much what these cars are. They're built very much like a model kit. So since I got that, I figured I would show the other three that I have in my collection, starting with this Mercury Cougar. This is the other one where I think the wheels really don't look great, but the rest of the car does. This car is awesome looking, I think. That is a very, very nice looking car. I would love to see these make a comeback. Technically, they could make a comeback under the Round 2 brand, because right now Round 2 has all the tooling rights. In fact, we've actually seen at least one or two since the relaunch of Johnny Lightning and Racing Champs. I think it's a 66 GTO from the Racing Champs. That is an Ertl casting that was used in this American Muscle lineup. So a good possibility we could see more of these coming back out through Racing Champs. And I would be perfectly happy with that. So that's the Mercury Cougar, and then here's one I showed not too long ago. I think this one might be the nicest. I don't know though, that's tough to say. They're all so nice. I do like the wheels on this one a lot. This is the Chevy Nova. It's an old Nova. So you can see all the extra pieces that they put in it, but look how perfectly it's set in the body. There's nothing crooked, nothing's like cattywampus like you always have with the M2 stuff. You have taillights that are glued on crooked and stuff like that. That doesn't seem to be an issue at all with these Ertl castings. Probably because they weren't made by hand. I know that's the defenders of M2, well, they're made by hand, so can't expect them to be perfect. Well, typically things that are made by hand are made a lot better. That's a cool looking car, you have to admit. And then my favorite of the four that I have, I don't know why this is my favorite. It reminds me a lot of an Auto World. I would love to see Auto World do this casting. But I really like this car, and I think it's because I really like... Well, here's the engine there. I think I just really like the wheels and tires on this. This is a Pontiac Catalina. And this thing is awesome. Just a beast of a car. A big old two-door boat. But the front end on this thing, so clean looking. It's got the distinctive Pontiac front end, front grille. Got the steelies that match the color of the car. It's a real basic, almost looks like a real base model. There's your tail end detail. So, a new addition to the Ertl American Muscle collection. I now have 4 of those. And I will continue to add these. I try not to buy I've been a lot more picky with the die cast I've been buying. But these are cars that I will buy if I can find them for the right price. And anytime I find one under $5, I will take it. Alright, so that's the diecast part of the video, and now I'm going to do something I've done on the channel a few times. As I've gotten more picky with the diecast that I buy, you go to Walmart, Toys R Us, all these places, and you don't find any diecast. And as a collector, it's like, I want to collect. And there's other stuff that I'm interested in besides diecast. And really, I've taken an interest, and I've actually had this interest. I actually collected this type of stuff before I started collecting diecast. And I kept some of it over the years, but I'm gotten back into actively collecting it lately. So if any of you are 80s kids like I am, and you have a Netflix subscription, you need to check out Stranger Things. This show right here is awesome. And anyway, so I do collect Funko mystery minis. I don't really collect the pop, although I do have some. It's not like my main thing that I like to collect. I'd say I probably have maybe around 100 vinyl figures in total. Most of them are on my desk at work. I try not to. I try to keep them away from the house because I have diecast here. I don't want to. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but the most valuable vinyl figure that I have is this one here. I bought 2 of these. As a kid growing up, this was always my favorite Disney character. And I don't know what happened to the other one, but I did find this one when we moved in my daughter's toy box. And this is a vaulted Donald Duck. This figure, mint in the box, is like $120 figure. So it's probably around $60 loose as you're looking at it. So that's pretty cool. I was happy to find that. And then I got a couple today. Some of you, if you guys don't like vinyl, I apologize. But you're probably not going to see a lot of this type of stuff on the channel, but in this case, I'm going to show this stuff. So today, from the horror series, I picked up Jack Torrance, I think his name is. Or John Torrance, Johnny. The Shining. So that's pretty cool. This is a real common figure. It's not a rare figure. Now, in the Stranger Things, there was a Target exclusive. There was a GameStop exclusive. I got all mine at Walmart. Walmart didn't have any exclusives. Will is 1 out of 6. Mikey is 1 out of 6. Lucas is 1 out of 6. Dustin is 1 out of 12, so he's a little bit harder to find. Now, I did get both Demogorgons. One of them is 1 in 12, the other is 1 in 24. The open-face Demogorgon is 1 out of 12. The closed-face Demogorgon is 1 out of 24. Who else did I got? Jonathan, he's 1 out of 36. So there's 12 in a case. So, like, Jonathan is 1 out of 3 cases. What other tough ones did I got all of them. I only need 3. I need Hopper. He's 1 out of 72. So he's 1 out of 7 cases, I think, or 6 cases. And I need 11. I have 11 with the wig. I need the other 11. And I need Nancy. Those are the only 3 I need. I did get Barb. She's 1 out of 6 cases. So she's 1 out of 72. So I did get some other Chase figures that are hard to get. These are just duplicates here. But I really like that show. It's probably my favorite show right now. It's definitely my favorite show right now that's on. Here's another, probably the second most valuable vinyl figure in my collection from The Big Lebowski. I think this one's vaulted too. This one, it's really all over the place. Some of them have sold up to like 80 or 90, and then sometimes you'll see it sell for around 50. I found one loose today at a local. It's like a vintage toy store that, like, a lot of vintage video games, Star Wars figures, just old toys. It's a cool store, but they had one of these loose and they were asking $40 for it, and I would say if that was listed on eBay, they would have no problem getting 40. So this is my favorite character from any movie ever. So I really do like this figure. I don't see myself ever opening it or getting rid of it. And then I like the Funko Mystery Minis, but I also like the Titans vinyl figures, which you don't seem to see as many of these. They got the licensing for, I think, the Alien franchise and the Ghostbuster franchise, but they also got the Breaking Bad franchise, which today I grabbed Jesse with his little bag of crystal meth. All you kids that are watching, just say no. This is my all-time favorite show right here. So Jesse, all of these figures that I don't have the duplicates go in the display case here at the house. The ones that I do not have duplicates of go on my desk at work. Okay. The last thing I'm going to show, I found this today, and I had to get it. Because when you see this, how can you not buy it? From the classic movie Scarface. If you haven't seen Scarface, then it's just not right. If you're an adult and you haven't seen Scarface, that's like being an adult and not ever seen Goodfellas. That can't be. So let's open him up with his little friend. I have the Walter White. These are called Funko Reaction. These are like nostalgic figures that are a lot like the old Kenner figures. So I've got Walter White at work, and I've got Heisenberg. So Scarface is going to go really nicely with those. There's a bunch of these that I would still really like to get. I want to get Doc Brown. I want to get Marty McFly. I'd like to get the Karate Kid. Pretty much any of the 1980s pop culture stuff is what I'm interested in. But so there's Scarface, another cool addition. Don't think that really qualifies as a vinyl figure, but I don't collect a lot of action figures. I never collected Star Wars figures or G.I. Joe or anything like that as a kid growing up. I never collected that kind of stuff. But stuff that represents pop culture and stuff that represents movies and television shows that I am a big fan of, I will collect. Because, I don't know, I'm just a born collector, I guess. So, anyways, that is going to wrap up the video. So we had some pretty cool die cast here with the Ertl American Muscle, some Subarus, and some pop culture figures. All right, everybody, thanks for checking it out. I will holler at the next video.